gonna be the day that I'm gonna talk to Pikachu. By now, you should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there are winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Beaver Brothers. Cause maybe you're gonna be the one who saves me. And after all, you're my Pokemon. That's right. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you, Ling. Welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Live and direct from our Boston studios, which is down the street from the corner. And you know, on the other corner, across the street, there's a Dunkin' Donuts where you can get your large regular and your munchkins and your donut and your bagel sandwich. You know, I like a bagel sandwich for breakfast sometimes, you know. Oh my gosh, what happened to you? Lane says, I got Diamond this week. They didn't ship all my Marvels to my LCS this week, so nothing showed up. The same thing happened to me last week, 2 weeks ago. And, yeah, we'll get into that. And, yeah, Green Lantern 18 was out of sight. It was so good. Wasn't great, but you know what? It was fun, and it was pretty good. I read, I think, 18 different Marvel books just this week, a couple of DC books, and we got to talk about something this week in woke. Sorry, I fucking pronouns. No, you got to do that off. I don't want my new neighbors to think I'm. I only do that like once in a while. I could blame it on the Patriots game because it's football season. And yeah, so welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream, live from our Boston studios here in Boston, Massachusetts, or adjacent, right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. Planet Earth, no, United States of Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America, North America, planet Earth, third planet from the sun, solar system, outer spiral arm, Milky Way galaxy, local group, Virgo cluster, Laniakea super cluster, known universe, nestled somewhere in the yet to be undiscovered and unplumbed multiverse of possibilities. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, because of Diamond, I still don't have Ultimate Spider-Man 11, but I talked to Yule, and he has one on hold for me. That's great. Yes. Talked to Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California, and he can say to your comics needs. I like talking like this. I always have. I don't know where I got, that certain accent. It's something British. Maybe I'm pastiching a British actor, but it's somewhat not Brian Blessed, but close. I have no idea where I come up with this. I think tomorrow my Ultimates 1 year in from Yule is supposed to arrive. It will arrive in a nice packaging. And timely, too. Everything I've ever bought from Yule Carter and Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California, on the other side of the continent. He sends me a tracking number. It usually gets there within a week. It's properly packaged. And I think I've made 5 different purchases from Fantastic Comics in the past 2 years, going on the past 2 years. So, you know, his deets are in the description. Look him up, hook him up. He'll hook you up with what you need, you know, and he's got a great theme song. I think they've got it. Fantastic comics. So fun you'll vomit. Fantastic comics. They'll special order if you need to. He's going to clip this. New comics every Wednesday. Believe it. Believe it. You bet they've got it. Fantastic comics. So fun you'll vomit. And I'll sort it alphabetically. In my own way, I am the king. Hail to the king, baby. You can tell where I am on Wednesday mornings. Mm-hmm. You is a good YouTube. You like to hear the sound of your own voice. This is true. This is true. I'm so conceited, I call out my own name during sex. I ripped off Rodney Dangerfield for that. Hey, my wife, hey, she's so conceited. She calls out her own name during sex. Hey, I have a liver-shaped pool. It's got a stone in it. I went to my doctor. He said, hey, doctor, you know, I got water on the knee. He gave me a sponge and he raised his price. You know, like my doctor told me I got 6 months to live. I said, whoa, I have trouble paying this. He said, hey, give me another 6 months. But I'm bumped. Cheo, waka waka. What's up with the clickbait titles? Well, it's all Pikachu's fault. I blame him. I'm just the talent. Pika writes the show notes, the copious amounts of show notes that we need to, you know, properly produce a show of this kind of caliber and quality. I say, you know, this is your lo-fi alternative to the high definition lifestyle. You know, just like a little bit more basic, a little bit more analog, a little bit dialed down, and a little bit, you know, green, you know, user friendly. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking comic books. We're talking pop culture, and we'll talk a bit about my very own clickbait headline. Let's get out of the way. What did I name the show today? Well, the week in woke. Week in woke. Let's work on that. I need some of those like 1970s Doctor Who style digital fades. I've been watching Doctor Who all weekend. I have a dedicated BritBox channel. It shows like really good BBC and ITV shows. It's a Doctor Who channel. So it just shows the first 8 Doctors and complete just like the 4 to 6 episode runs. So I'm just like, every time I turn it on, it's always 3rd Doctor, 4th Doctor, which is like my wheelhouse because that's what I grew up on. That was my Doctor. Showing of the notes. Yes, I'll show you my notes. We just scared off 2 people by doing the thing. You know, it's my lo-fi charm. Maybe it's my breath. No, you got a bath recently. Don't worry about that. Woke, the week in woke. So I don't know. I mean, all I know is that what is woke to you? Let me know in the comment section. Woke is a 4-letter word. Woke is like pornography. You'll know it when you see it. You know, that was the whole thing about litigating pornography in the late 20th century. It was like, does it have a story? Does it have artistic merit? And it's like, it's just, you know, is it gratuitous or is it just, you know, so there was a definition between art and pornography and free speech, you know, and vice, you know, and there was like this kind of like rule of thumb, which is in itself is a inchoate, patriarchal, abusive term, because you wouldn't get a switch thicker than your thumb to beat your wife and your kids with. Anything thicker than your thumb is kind of unfair, unmanly, ungentlemanly. You know, just like you might be you're not looking for justice. You're looking for revenge. That's where the thumb comes from. Yeah, it's. But you'll know woke when you see it. You can smell it. It's like a fart in an elevator, and you know what I mean. And those who did it inhale deeply and giggle. No, that's you. That's you, and you farts in my ear. It's like static electricity, you know. But yeah, the week in woke. I thought it was just. I gotta put on these like dumb, catchy, clickbait titles, and I can get like, dude, our little show. If we can get 100 viewers on our little show on a Sunday, that's a major victory for me. That for me is like, okay, that's cool. I mean, hey James, what is up? The weekend woke. I remember Doctor Who when it was Doctor Who. What's up, Eric? Woke is weird. Woke is the word. Woke. Woke is the word. It's got mood. It's got moodiness. Do. Woke is the word when you notion. Woke is the feeling. You know, there should be Grease, but woke. Set in a 21st century high school. You know what I mean? Just like woke the musical. That would be funny. It's already been done. It's called High School Musical, the musical, I believe. maybe not. It was like I never watched that shit. Like the old Disney Channel's youth programming. That's right. I gotta work on your Michael Jackson there, Sully. That's right. I work on my and my hoo and my pee and my poo too. You know it. But that's my shit. That's my business. So let's see. Yeah, I actually have nothing to say about woke or about anti-woke or about SJWs or about tactics used in the culture war. One thing I do notice, though, is that, you know, far right-leaning sources and accounts and voices. Wow, Dwayne Muth! How are you? That's my business to share or not to share. Don't worry, I'll light a match. Lead the way. Indeed, they are saving me money. So Eric, they are saving me some money. That's right. That's the big two for you. I saw a really wonderful. I got the idea. Well, I didn't get the syzygy or the algorithm of the YouTubes. I'm watching your boy Zach. I watch your boy Zach all the time. I don't agree with everything he says, but like Perch, like Wes, like all the people that I listen to, like, you know, just in my sphere of comic stuff, I watch a lot of your boy Zach, and I love what he's got to say about the birthday party clowns, the anti-woke SJW tactics, the culture war. I love his pish-poshing of the whole thing. Like, oh God, nothing is gonna make us happy, is it? Unless it's completely bland, vanilla, predictable. No, we don't want that. You just want good, honest, authentic, genuine, unsullied by the woke. Because when you woke stuff, quality suffers in a way. There's always some kind of cheesiness to it, or most of the time, because there's probably tons of, there's tons of pre-2015 stuff, because the big sea change was about 2015, 2012 to 2015, where this stuff really kicked in. People blame Gamergate, which I wasn't really part of or cognizant of, but all the essential ingredients of Gamergate trickled. That was like the big bang of the culture war. The shot heard around the world. The Franz Ferdinand. That was Germany invading Poland in 1936 and starting to bomb, the UK. Ooh. Hot chocolate. Well, it's 3:00-ish. AL, hello. How's it going? Good to see you. And, but yeah, I used to watch all those channels, though. What do I watch now? I still watch a shitload of Ethan Van Sciver. I'm sorry, I cannot get enough of him. He's my friend. He's my internet friend. I love his books, and I love his sense of humor. I love his feistiness. I love his kayfabe. I'm 52 years old. He's 50, so he's a peer of mine. I've loved his work for over 20 years. Really, I've been cognizant of Ethan Van Sciver, and I turned on to him about New X-Men in the early aughts. But yeah, in the Grant Morrison run, I was like, wow, this guy's fucking great. So I remembered who he was when Green Lantern Rebirth started up. That was 20 years ago. Green Lantern Rebirth. Yeah, that was 20 years ago. And everything he did for Green Lantern in that volume that came after that. He did covers. He did some interior art. Mostly it was Ivan Rice. But Ethan did a lot going into that, especially with the Sinestro Corps War. Yeah, but damn it, do. That was some really good stuff. But I like his show, and I like his sense of humor. I put up with him, and I tolerate his cringiness, one could say. Dwayne Booth has given us a slice of his mind. I've been reading comics since the mid-'60s, and all these ass clowns are supposed to be creative and tell a damn story. I don't care about anyone's politics. That's why I read Ghost Machine. Because Ghost Machine is pretty much the old-fashioned comics through the modern production lens. And it's a good way to put it, because it's story first. You can bake in all the woke shit you want. You know what I mean? But if the story it's not Witcher 4. Have you heard about Witcher 4? Ciri is the Witcher now, and they've made her uglier, and they gave her 2 swords. But I read the books, and she wasn't the Witcher. They jokingly called her the Witcher girl, because for about 6 to 12 months she trained at was it Mo Kalen? That was and then she ran away from there to go hang out with Yennefer to learn her magic skills, because Ciri is of elven blood, of the old elven blood. She was probably one of the most powerful, naturally magical people in that fictional Earth. And but Ciri could never be a Witcher. Why? Well, because girls can't be Witchers, and I think that's the whole thing of it. That's the wokeification of it, because you can't say that girls can't play. Now, Ciri can play. Ciri's one of the toughest people in that book. She's just not a Witcher. It's like they only train boys, and they only give the mutagen to boys that are turning into puberty. So they train them. They give them this mutagen, which gives them the yellow eyes and enhanced skills and shit. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't watch the show. I didn't play the games, but I did read all the books. I watched ads from Heel versus Babyface play the shit out of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt a bunch of times for hours on end. I would watch that guy. You know what I mean? So I don't watch Az anymore. Salam. Bo, hello. From the other side of the planet. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't watch Az anymore because he's too much. He's like, his kayfabe is a lot like Ethan's kayfabe. It's just on brand for that individual. If you like him, tune in. You'll get everything that you're looking for. But Az is just so toxic to me. Not to me, for me, I guess. It's bad television. It's bad radio. It's dead air to me. I mean, there's nothing really revolutionary that's being said. There are no, he does a lot of jam sessions with Eric July, who is like, and both of these guys are the opposite of Ethan Van Sciver. And then there's Yellow Flash as well, who all these and then there's Nerdrotic and the Zeros. Oh, jeez, just and all they had to do was just say, Ethan, you're full of shit and hot air, but forgive you. Let's go forward. All right, no. And Az himself was one of those, no, those are my mates. They are not fucking zeros. Fucking brownouts! I know. Tim Drake sucking D, taking it in the eye. Actual, it was very, very close to an actual quote. I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, I wear this guy's T-shirt. Actually, no lie. In my thinner days, when I was about 40 pounds lighter, I had a medium because it fit. I could wear a medium, red hoodie with the heel versus babyface, logo. Heck, I got recognized once. I was at the legal weed store during lockdown. And he was like, hey, heel versus babyface. I'm like, yeah, way to go, man. And I probably sank enough money in super chats to Az that I probably bought one of those, hot toys or two that's behind him. Not really. I'm just imitating, I'm not the YouTuber who's angry. His anger is a kayfabe. But it's like, all power to Az. He's got a huge following, huge audience. Made his bones. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just a little channel. I'm just an ex-fan, but I'm not one of these remorseful orbiters either. I don't watch his show to be pissed off. I see so much of his show on Ethan's show, because Ethan does something called Trashcast when he's like ripping into Eric July. Seriously, I think this is just my opinion. Eric July could have fixed this by apologizing for sending Ethan something called a night letter. A night letter is you wake up in the morning, there's a letter that's been stapled to your front door that was put there in the middle of the night. And it says, you got to change your ways or move out or we're going to kill you and your family, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Mr. July made an equivocal statement to Mr. Van Sciver saying, if you are siding with my enemies, then I will, put my forces against you. It's a paraphrase, but it's out there. You look it up yourself. And I'm like, yes, that happened. And I'm like, whoa, oh, well, that's interesting. And so the static with FNT, Friday Night Tights, and Nerdrotic, could have been squashed if Az was cool. This whole beef with Eric July could have been squashed if Eric July was cool. And I mean that nicely. I mean, I have no qualms with Eric July. I don't want him either. Shit. I'm a member of Max Von Priestley's channel. One of his co-hosts is Carol Lynn, who works for Rippaverse. I mean, our circles overlap like Venn diagrams. So I'm not trashing anyone. I'm not dissing anyone. Like I won't get Eric July's books, and not because I don't want an opinion. I don't want to. I've seen enough preview stuff that I can tell it's not for me, and I don't want really any stakes in this culture war like that over there. I'm fine with what you would call Comicsgate, and I don't identify as Comicsgate, but I most definitely am Comicsgate adjacent. I will say that much. I have to be. I mean, I wear Ethan's T-shirts and his hat, his sweatshirt. I buy his stuff, and I buy what he considers the Comicsgate Kings stuff. Billy Tucci, Andy Smith, Aaron Lopresti, Graham Nolan, John Malin, Shane Davis, Irene Strakalski, formerly was the Comicsgate Queen, but she stepped away from that in that circle because of the rising toxicity and all these and the bad vibes that come with it. But those are the crowdfunding people that I'm consistently getting when they have new books. I don't like digital based art, and I don't like bad art. All I've seen was just like, from Rippaverse, I guess. It's like, my friend Thomas Gilkey has got a couple of Rippaverse books. My hope is that he brings them with him next time we hang out. And I'm a quick reader. Give me that real quick. I have a photographic memory. So I look at shit first and I read it later. That's true. But yeah, the weekend woke. The weekend woke. Woke. Shit. Pika, the shit you make me write, the shit you make me do to have this show. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, clickbaity stuff. I need like better thumbnails with googly eyes and maybe like, a Brie Larson with her new haircut. Like, what happened to Brie? I like Brie Larson. She's a cutie, man. She won an Oscar, man. What did we read this week? I got 18 Marvel books. I got a couple of other books too, which are in What's in the Bag. What's in the bag? I got 6 books this week. And we'll find out after the reviews. I had 18 Marvel books that showed up in my digital pirate chest. Like hits like X Factor number 5, Dazzler number 4, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 1 by Christos Gage, which is an official prequel to the upcoming Spider-Man animated show, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Ultimate X-Men 10. I read Ultimate Universe 1 year later, 1 year in, number 1. Hulk number 20. Amazing Spider-Man 63. Uncanny X-Men number 7. Star Wars Jakku something or other number 4. Aliens Paradiso number 1, which is on the 20th Century Fox label. Infinite Watch number 1. Laura Kinney Wolverine number 1. Deadpool Team Up number 4. And I can actually look at some of the comic book covers on my iPod. Yeah, because we're like really low tech right now. Wait, well, to be fair to Brie Larson, is not the obnoxious Hollywood celebrity anymore. That's regular Rachel Zegler now. That's right. Yeah, but seriously. I mean, because it's also the fans, to stay out of that stuff. It's like it's all over my Twitter because I follow everyone, and it's like, oh gosh, you can't turn your head without being whacked in the face by someone swinging around a dead cat to hit Ethan Van Sciver with, grifter, late books, toxic, I'm Team Yellow Flash, I'm Team Ripetard, I'm a Dungeoneer, no, I mean, I'm not being serious. I mean, but these are the names that get thrown around. Let's see. Spider-Man 63. It's part 3 of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. We got Joe Kelly, who started this off with Ed McGuinness. But this issue, we got a change. We've got Justine Ireland, as promised, was going to write into this arc with art by Gleb Melnikoff. Gleb Melnikoff. And is it Melnikoff? Let me hit the button and let me read it. Melnikoff, Gleb Melnikoff. All right. Written by Justina Ireland, who apparently has a reputation of being a man-hater or something. Is that it? Oh, shit. I hit the wrong button again. I see I boomered it. And this is why I don't... I couldn't do the chat yesterday in Wes's Thinking Critical again because here I am on my iPhone, and Johnny Depp is in Saudi Arabia today. Indeed, give him a high five if you see him. He's a cool guy, but yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't have any problems with it. And I thought it was interesting that usually one writer will write the mini series, the arc, you know what I mean? Just so to have a completely new team, the B team come in and write a part of this story. So, and it's completely fine. I had no problems with Amazing Spider-Man 63. Action Comics 1079. I won't touch it. I won't even look at it. that Mark Waid stuff. I'm sorry. He's a good comic book writer. He's a good superhero writer. I'm done with him. Kind of like we were saying about, oh my goodness, Mike Jenkins is in Chinatown today. Indeed. Are you getting Chinese food? And if so, let me know if your General Gao's comes with steamed broccoli or not, because it's one of those things. It's like, just like, that's his mystical, magical armor that was given to him. It's the Citarac stuff. And of course, this was being like, anytime, the Eye of Citarac is the jewel that gives Juggernaut his powers. Remember, Juggernaut, Kane Marco, is not a mutant. His half-brother, Charles Xavier, is. But Kane Marco was never, but he's a mystically charged superhuman. Oh my goodness, hello there, MC. I see you. How are you doing there, old friend? Good to see you, Mario. And yeah, but I don't watch. Good, just going back to my original, what I started this with. I don't watch heel versus babyface anymore. He's too explosively toxic and angry that it's impossible for me to chill out. Like, I go to these shows to chill out, to have a good time, to have a laugh, and it's just not my cup of tea anymore. The best as was when he was playing Witcher, and it was just like, it was fun, and it was engaging, and I had good conversation. It was just, and we're not experts. We're just normal people. We're YouTubers. We're having conversations. I mean, we're not industry people. We're not creating anything besides opportunities, to pass time. And it's a nice thing. And let's see. The mystical gem of Citarac. That's Juggernaut source power, not mutation. Correct. And but it's like, what are we creating? Are we making art? Are we making stories? Are we telling stories? Are we publishing stories? Are we selling something that can be, enhance our lives? Or are we just the peanut gallery digitally now? And interconnected. So yeah, like I said, it's like I can't take. Why would I want to take anything away from Az? He's just cringed me out way too many times. And sometimes I'm afraid that Ethan Van Sciver is going to do that. But Ethan has a kind of level of, he knows when to knock it off a bit, I guess. It's weird. So as I like to say, I give Ethan the pass. So why don't I give Mark Waid the pass? I don't know. I mean, maybe because Ethan doesn't call for anyone's death, like Waid did with his Trump blue sky tweets about regretting the not missing, or I don't know. Just Scott. Here's an artist there's an artist that I don't see him working anymore. Scott McDaniel. Ooh, yeah, McDaniel did a lot of good stuff in the early. Yeah, I was there for that Batman in the early aughts. But yeah, I mean, I can't watch Geeks and Gamers anymore. I don't watch Ryan Cannell. I can't stand watching Ryan talk to Jeremy anymore. It's just, there are other things I'd rather do. There are other shows I'd rather watch. See, I watched Ethan for 7 hours this weekend. Seriously, he did like 3.5 hour shows. And I watch that all day kind of thing. It's like, hey, if it's live, I'm part of the live chat. I'm a member of his show on his channel. So I just, that's, like I said, my cup of tea. So I'd rather be goofing off over there. And, but I used to watch Geeks and Gamers, not a lot, but, all my friends that I met through the spheres that are local to this, they all had the Geeks and Gamers gear, the G&G logo, and I still get my Rebellion hat, that's Drunk 3PO. And, just like, yeah, see all these overlapping circles, making little slices in our Venn diagrams. But I'm not gonna bash Geeks and Gamers. I'm just more of like, ugh. It's just he got like way too political for me. Like Jeremy suffers from. They have this thing called TDS. It's called Trump Derangement Syndrome. It's been going on since 2015, 2016, and especially since 2016. Like blue-haired land whales with pierced nose ring septums. Usually suffer it the hardest. And but it's like Jeremy Griggs has anti-TDS. It's just yeah, and he's like in full vengeance mode against the SJWs, and I'm not here for that. I don't care. That bores me. Just whatever. That's not how I want to decompress. Spend some time. I still watch Gary. I still watch Nerdrotic. But it's not when Az is on. Az is on a lot. So I avoid those shows. I just don't want to watch Az. But I do watch the Nooners with Chris Gore because that's fun. I love Chris Gore. I'd rather watch Film Threat. Film Threat's great. They had an interview with Justine Bateman last week. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, who else? Geez, I wish Jenny Nicholson made more content. I love watching her. But yeah, Action Comics 1079 didn't do it. Uncanny X-Men #7, written by Gail Simone, art by Ryan Stegman. Was it art by Ryan Stegman? Or was they switch up? No. David Marquez, Gail Simone, and David Marquez does the art. And he also does his own inking too, which is nice. But it's part 2 of Raid on Grey Malkin, which is the Xavier Mansion, and it was all right. It's kind of boring. Ultimate X-Men #10. I hate that fucking book, and it's awful too because as I said this on West's yesterday, because we're talking about. We were talking about the worst comics of 2024, and for me, the worst comic is Ultimate X-Men, but also being like critical and looking at it, I appreciate it and respect it for what's good about it. I love Peach Momoko's art, so I in this book I love her art. She's inking it, she's coloring it. She's lettering it in her original Japanese, so that it gets translated, so it gets re-lettered over here. So whatever's, it's her panel progression. Her panel, I call it panel choices. We call camera work. So she's got a lot of good action scenes. She can draw action scenes. It's expressive. It's emotive. It's got a real horror anger to it. So there's a lot to respect. There's like these Japanese cultural cues that are in the back where she explains like all this like little stuff in the background that she puts there on purpose. That's just like filled of Japanese culture, and so I respect the hell out of that. But then comes its intrinsic misandry. You know what misogyny is? Well, misandry is the guy version. OG and misogyny, miss meaning to be bad to, or like mistake, mismanage, yada yada. That's a Greek prefix. And then ogeny, meaning of the woman or of the womb. Then you have andro, Miss Andro. So then there's the misandry, and then there's misanthrope. Anthropic means all people. So I remember like Wolverine all the time would be called a misanthrope back in the Claremont days. But misandry, a misandrist, that's anti-male. And I figured this out. really early. They a super chatter asked, "What was the one issue that took the smile off your face?" If you can, and I remember it was Ultimate X-Men #4, the issue that I dropped this book that I was looking forward to because of Peach Momoko. I love this artist. I wanted to support this. I wanted to show up for her. I wanted to be eager to see what's next. And I was so disappointed because this is not made for general audiences. This is not, I think this is a misuse of the intent of the Ultimate Universe. It's a publication gimmick. But it should be meant for general audiences, right? I mean, there's who is half the general audience? Men. There are no heroic men whatsoever in 10 issues of this book now. I figured this out 6 issues ago, and I've been proven right. Every issue I read for free, digitally, online, pirated. There is an Ultimate Wolverine coming. Yeah, yeah, and it's been kind of got a Winter Soldier aspect to it too. Ultimate Spidey is the only one that seems good. Ultimate Black Panther, I'll say that. Ultimate What If, I don't buy it. I only follow Ultimate Spider-Man. This new Ultimate Universe isn't going well, I take it. Ultimate X-Men has no X-Men in it. Well, Armor Hisako, yeah, she's an X-Men. She came. She was an Astonishing X-Men, was it, in the early aughts? And she's a young Japanese girl, and she makes that red pinkish armor that's impenetrable, and so she can make it. It's really cool. I've always liked Armor, and but yeah, I mean, there's besides that, it's just there are no heroic men. All the men. There are no good men in this book. They're all creepy. They're all bullies. They're all self-leaders. They're all victims. They're all physically abusive. They're the host of the Shadow King. They're the maestro who is leading the Children of the Atom, a nefarious, evil kind of the Brotherhood of evil mutants in a way. Fear Monarch, good to see you. I expect nothing. Bought Spider-Man on a whim. Have been enjoying it. Once it tries to connect to the Ultimate world, I'm tapping out, though. Cool. Peach is a great artist, but that ain't the X-Men. Exactly. But also it ain't fun. And it ain't for the general audience. Every male character in this book is non-heroic. There isn't a sense there aren't good men in this book. And that kind of hurts my feelings in a way. And this is not an X-Men book. And if this is a misuse of this story, this could have been like a Runaways manga. This could possibly be something unrelated to the Ultimate Universe that's just being printed in this format. I have no idea, but it's just for me, it's one of the worst comics, and I will read it every month because it is part of being a reviewer, and I get these free comics given to me, and so I have to read them, yeah, and have an opinion, and I have an opinion, and it's an informed opinion, and it's a noble opinion too, because I'm pissed off for all the right reasons, because this is not an X-Men book. It's inherently anti-male, misandrist, and I don't like that at all. And I'm so disappointed with this book. And pick your hills to die on. Here's your outrage culture. But is this book woke? No, it's not. It's supremely Japanese. It's what we call a shoujo manga. Shonen, it means boys things, like Shonen Jump. Then there's shoujo, which means girls. So this is a completely shoujo manga, but it's this is a misuse of the property. Talking about, oh shit, good to see you, Mario. All right, have to bounce. Dog is a barking and needs to go outside for a walk. Please give her a boop. Okay, have a good day. We'll be listening and Live and Learn Gratitude Show. Mañana. Thank you. Yeah, shonen means young man. That's right. And shoujo means young woman, or or girls, stuff, right? And hate only destroys. Sure. Peace destroys too. Good evening, Pika Shades. Good to see you. Greetings from my Pikachu as well. Shoujo means young woman. Exactly. Also, while we're talking about Ultimate books, let's also take the opportunity to talk about Ultimate Universe 1 Year In, written by Dennis Camp. And I read, and it's there's also a backup feature with the first appearance of Ultimate Wolverine, show getting you ready for that lowdown. And so Ultimate Universe 1 Year In by Dennis Camp, who writes the Ultimates, who's an activist writer. So it's about immediately following the events of Ultimates number 9, was it? Was it Ultimates number 7? Number 9? Number 9? Number 9? Number 9? Fucking brownout! Fucking brownouts! So, and it's Nick Fury, and he's talking to the Makers Council, and it's a lot of Steranko pastiche and imagery in there with Nick Fury's story, and he has this macabre kind of Twilight Zone-y fate, and it's not completely all that bad. It's for Dennis Camp. I mean, Dennis Camp has to be judged on a Dennis Camp scale of ick, because he's an activist writer. Look, he showed up to Mark Miller's roundtable with Adam Kubert and Jeremy Adams. It was Kari Andrews as well, and he was wearing keffiyeh, and which is the Middle Eastern scarf. You know what I mean? It's like wearing it's like a Christian wearing a cross, I guess, or a Jewish person wearing a yarmulke, or a Sikh wearing a turban, or maybe it's even more cultural for the region itself beyond religious stuff. But in this day and age, in 2024, that means that you are one side on the aisle on the Palestinian-Israeli issue. And if you go to his Twitter, you see the little flag icons, which even more show you that that's the side he's on in this. So it's a public media war. He's talking about using, part of the 21st century Avengers versus the bad guys is the media war. So they're using propaganda. And so they're heavily going in the paint, making the mainstream media refer to the Ultimates as terrorists. And there's Nick Fury in his helicarrier, and it's in a surveillance state. And so it starts off the cold open with a guy at a barbecue, and he's saying a complimentary thing about the Ultimates. He's saying he's with his family and he's flipping burgers and dogs, Americana, and so he says something supporting the Ultimates, because the Ultimates are terrorists and they're the enemy, and he literally gets struck down by lightning from the helicarrier and killed and burnt to a crisp, and then a SWAT team comes in and rounds up the family and stuff like that. But it's like Nick Fury, that's him doing his job. Head of Hand, which is the shield of this ultimate Earth. And that's his job, is to serve, to keep the peace, to keep the Maker's peace. And so that person was judged a terrorist and dealt with so, yeah. And so the Ultimates are, but that's the whole thing of the media spin. Like, so someone like, such as Dennis Camp, is when one side are labeled terrorists and they are actually the heroes. I'm pretty sure that for an activist writer that wears his emotions on his sleeves and on, and on his Twitter profile, I'm pretty sure that the whole thing about terrorists being mislabeled and they're actually heroes, I mean, it's kind of that's on the nose. I don't think that they're like referring to Americans as terrorists, or like, or one side. I mean, this is most. I don't know. It's a bit much. Oh boy, it's like, this is supposed to be escapism. This is supposed to be fun. The Ultimates is a huge property for a general audience. As I was just saying about Ultimate X-Men. Now, you look at Ultimate Spider-Man, you look at Ultimate Black Panther. Those are really built for that, for that general audience. That there's something going on there that's like, it's a bit simpler. And but to have an activist writer such as Dennis Camp, I mean, that potentially harms your brand, because it's like, it's the wrong, it's the wrong place for this kind of stuff. Wait a second. Hey, there we go. And Dennis Camp was just saying that, like, you should see what we got planned for Ultimates coming up. Like, the editors let us do basically anything we want, which is like, that's a good way. There's a saying here in the Middle East: activist is the job of someone who has too much time on their hands. We should say this here too. They are referring to Captain America as a terrorist, and Iron Lad, and the Ultimates team, and anyone who supports them, and that version of America. Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, because there are so many Marvel books. I think I could read 60 Marvel books a month out of the 70 or 80 that they're putting out, because those are what are in my pirate chest mostly, are the Marvel comics, because they're, but yeah, Ultimate Universe 1 year in by Dennis Camp. It's just, I mean, this is an abuse. This is an abuse of the idea of the Ultimate Universe, the fresh start, the new interpretation, the modernization of classic heroes. Trying to the original Ultimate Spider-Man, the original Ultimates, the original Ultimate X-Men, the original Ultimate Fantastic Four, which gave us the Maker. Those were really, they had more gumption. They hit the ground running. There's a point where people say that Mark Millar's conservative feelings are pretty on the nose for his Ultimates, and there's a case for that. I think, sure, why not? Let's talk about that. We can talk about that. I need to reread it. It's been a while. I got them all. I have a Mark Millar box, and that's in it. Steve Rogers. Oh, unfortunately, our comics and movies and other forms of entertainment have been turned to a platform for politics. Being a writer myself, that is not an activist. It's all baloney sausage. Baloney. That's right. And so, yeah, we had two Ultimate titles this week: Ultimate X-Men number 10, Ultimate Universe 1 year in number 1. And yeah, whatever's. Okay, Ultimate. We had X Factor number 5. Let's actually go back to our little list here. We were doing so well, yeah. Because I got a browser on my iPhone, on my iPod. Transformers 15. What a good book. Let's stick a pin in that. Alrighty. Ultimate Universe 1 year in number 1. This is $5.99 cover price, a little extra thick. It's 40 pages, lots of variant covers. Chris Condon wrote the backup for Ultimate Wolverine, and the art in it was pretty. I mean, the art in it was pretty good. I'll give it that much. You know, I'd like to give compliments when they're due. Transformers 15 was amazing. Jorge Corona's art just really complements what came before it, and he's been on it for like almost 10 straight issues now. Because Daniel Warren Johnson only did issues 1 through 6. Green Lantern 18, we're going to put a pin in that because we all talked about that yesterday on Wes's. That is the unanimous, probably will end up being Comic of the Year 2024. This is my prediction. Comic of the Year 2024, like the Thinking Critical gang, what I think, it's probably going to be Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams and Carmanico because it is that good. Yeah, I mean, that's going around. And so, you know, we didn't even talk about, we kind of talked about it a little bit. I mean, they talked about, Yule talked about it on his show this past Wednesday. He mentioned that Diamond Distributors shut down their Plattsburgh. Well, where is Plattsburgh? Does anyone know? Can someone look that up? Diamond shut down one of their distribution hubs, which is serviced a lot of like the Atlantic and the Northeast and probably maybe a bit of the Midwest. And this happened to me 2 weeks ago at my LCS, New England Comics Quincy Center. My Marvel books got pushed back a week, and a couple of the indies too. And yeah, but what's going to replace it? Is it going to be, is Lunar the way to go? Is Lunar doing, this is Dwayne, write these questions down and ask these to Yule Carter on Tuesday night, because he has that curated opinion. He's someone that's really impacted by this. Yule, I want to know how Yule would answer that question. Mo, thank you so very much. Salam, and have a great day, a great night rather, being half a world away in Saudi Arabia. Good to see you, man. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I'd love to hear from you, and this is great. And that we share this culture of superhero stories worldwide, dude. This is great. I mean, that's proof. That's the proof of the pudding is on the plate. So whenever you hear someone say, "Hey, the proof is in the pudding," no. The proof of the pudding is on the plate. You can next, but I'm being more reductive because you don't even have to talk about the plate if the proof is in the pudding. Don't be an asshole. The cliche is the cliche itself. You know what I mean? Fuck it. Batman and Robin 16, people were raving about that one. It's Phil Kennedy Johnson writing an interesting static between Batman and Damian. And it's cute because I follow Philip Kennedy Johnson on Twitter X, and when he posts stuff, when he's not pimping comics, he's posting dad stuff because he's a dad of, I think, a 6 or 7 year old, maybe 8-year-old boy. So he's a boy dad, and so he's got that. He's writing from like his kind of like personal dad life, and so that's pretty cool. Incredible Hulk number 20 came out. Phoenix number 6. Oh God, this book's so awful. And Stephanie Phillips has her own Stephanie Phillips scale. Storm number 3 wasn't that good. It's I think a 5-issue mini, and it's written by Murera Oyedeli, and it's Earth's mightiest mutant, and she's hanging out with the Louisiana Uncanny X-Men, where in this story Storm is dying for some reason, which is interesting because we've already had this kind of like we got our fill of this in the Krakoan era about life and rebirth, and so Storm is kind of like powerless and facing her certain demise, and so she's hanging out with the X-Men, training, I guess, or she's training with Wolverine, with Logan, and they're not holding back because they don't do that. I mean, like, she's got no powers, but she's still like fighting, like they're still sparring, and they fall into a lover's embrace, and that's the big thing, is like they have sex, like whoop-de-doo. I mean, Storm, and like this has been like the Storm Logan stuff has been like has it been done? Not like, but it's more of like she's dying, so it's like, but she'll find a way out of it, of course. But what do you want? Like, and it's supposed to be like this like shocking moment. Is there, geez, wow, shippers and modernity. And it's just like, we have X Factor number 5, written by Mark Russell. I'm not liking this book. Is anyone out there liking X Factor? It's Legacy number 297, so there's bound to be some issue 300 stuff going on, and just 3 more issues, if it can last that long. Dwayne says that my LCS works hard to get books, etc., and they've been around since 1969. That's cool. I have an LCS here in Boston that's been around since 1972. And it's New England's oldest direct market local comic book shop in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's called Million Year Picnic, and it's been there for 50 years, and it's the most charming little hole in the wall kind of place too, and I should shop there more often. The so-called Big Two and Diamond are gradually killing the hobby. Oh, yeah. So I started saying this at the beginning of the show. I watch a lot of your boy, Zach, and he was talking about, I was watching this program about Matt with 4 T's, and it was about Jeff Smith's Bone and Scholastic, and how things are not as bad as it seems in comics, that comics are actually doing fine. It's about who we listen to, who's sounding off about what, where, and when. That and how, like, the algorithm. So I didn't even this video was suggested to me, probably because I had just watched the Your Boy Zach video that talked about it, and I watched the whole thing, and it's really poignant, because you know what I mean. This is like, I didn't hear this from Purge. I heard it from Matt with 4 T's. You know what I mean? And it's good to hear this from your boy Zach, who opened up like, hey, I'm not like listening to all the conventional voices, and this is something like I've heard of, but really doesn't embrace. So if you look at the totality of comic books in a pie chart, that Marvel has less than 4% of the overall market, and I think it was in trade paperbacks. I'm not even talking about direct market or floppies, and that DC has 5%. So that's like less than 10%. So what is the other 90% of comic sales, and how is that defined? Like, usually in the trade paperback format, in the collect, so like there's like 60% of that market currently is manga, or maybe it was 40. A huge chunk was manga, and then there's the other huge chunk, which was 40% of the market, and it was Scholastic, and they're always talking about Scholastic, but like what made Scholastic happen was Jeff Smith's Bone. I remember Bone and floppies. It wasn't my kind of thing. It was lost on me. Kind of like Pogo. You only appreciate that stuff. I think you can only appreciate like the levels of humor the older you get. Because young people, I mean, like, what are we looking for in a comic book when we're young? Action adventure, superhero power sets, the superhero uniforms, the whole, thing of it. But Jeff Smith's Bone was just like, is an incredible work of comics, of just a pacing of panels, of mood, of detail, and of timing. And I just and I'm very impressed with it. I'd go back and I'd love to go back. It's whetted my appetite for this. So, oh, you do, and let us know how you feel about that. I'd like to know, AL. AL reads Bone, and it was one of the first books to collect their stories and sell them as a trade paperback. And they got in with Scholastic like right off the beat. And so there are comics that sell. Kids are reading comic books. Kids are voracious comics readers, and that's why it's what's his name? Dave Paddle. He does Dogman, and then there's Captain Underpants, and just there's like, and Raina Tellerberg who does Smile, and all this. It's just, but Scholastic is not just a publisher. It is, it's the marketplace itself. I remember Scholastic from when I was a kid, 40 years ago in public school, in school, being a grade schooler, not even middle school. I mean, we didn't get Scholastic flyers in middle school. This is like a grade school thing, like 1 through 5, 1 through 6, grades 1 through 6. With and I got something called Scholastic Tab, and it was basically it was a flyer of, like, specials, and it was just the listing of like different publications, like Judy Blume's, like, is it Hello God, it's me, Sully. No, that's not the way. Pickle Juice, or like, the baby, was it the babysitter things, like, or like the Babysitter Club, that would have been part of it too. But it was directly advertised through schools. So you would give, like, the teachers would distribute it. We would get the Scholastic flyer every month. My mom loved it that I read. And I was a big reader as a kid, so she let me get a few books, like, almost every time, especially if it was like Star Wars stuff, and or Garfield books. That was where I got my Garfield books. They had these collections of Garfield comics, like of the daily strips and the Sundays, and these like horizontal kind of format for Garfield. There were like 2 strips on every page. I love those Garfield books, man. And but it was direct to this. It sold to the kids through the flyers, and it was mailed to the school and distributed at the school. The money was collected at the school. So it was, when I think it might be having to do with the librarians, because librarians, that's where Scholastic made mint, was seducing like the National Assembly of Librarians, or the Librarians Congress. And it's a fascinating, it's half an hour. Go check it out. It's MATT, Matt with 4 T's, and it's about Jeff Smith's Bone and Scholastic. But Scholastic, so if you look at comics like this big thing, he's quoting Brian Hibbs as well. Brian Hibbs is like a 50-year veteran of the direct market in San Francisco. I mean, Yul Carter probably has a thing or two to say about Brian Hibbs. Who knows? But Brian Hibbs does a yearly report on the health of the comics industry. Fair or unfair, it is still, he's still reputable. I don't think he's done anything to really ruin that. Whether you like him or not, that's a different thing. He also sold, Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic sold his shop to Brian Hibbs. You know what I mean? They were in competition in the Bay Area. My parents wouldn't let me buy any book from Scholastic because they say it was a waste of money. If I wanted to read a book, I had to go to a library. Mom says, why pay for something I get for free? That's a good way to put it. Scholastic had a thin magazine called Scope in the 60s and 70s. It got me hooked on Planet of the Apes in 71. Indeed. Bone was fun. It gets dark as it goes on, but I liked it. Exactly, yeah. And but yeah, so I guess I'm with him on this. Yeah, and I feel that, and that there is more hope in comics than just what. And it's like, why aren't the big two figuring this out, like about how to sell these stories, these sequential art on pages? How is this so difficult? Why do they shoot themselves in the foot? Is this a self-inflicted wound that they could have avoided if they were only just like, who are they listening to? Is why aren't they like able to duplicate Scholastic? I mean, it's one thing to like be Viz and you're just reprinting manga with a translation on it, and and that's one thing. I mean, to say like Viz is like part of like it, but Viz isn't producing anything new. Oh, it's the TV in the next room. I forgot. It's the Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who on the TV. I'm like, oh, that's Doctor Who. That's Sonic Screwdriver. I did. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Agreed. But that opened me up to what books I wanted in my bookcase. Yeah, me too. Oh, boy. What else do we have? Yeah, Hulk 20 was really good. I'm going to say this about Hulk 20. Like a good baseball team has a starting pitcher. Well, they also have a second pitcher and a third pitcher. A pitching rotation, a starting pitcher. So Danny Earls has grown on me. He's like a strong number 2 pitcher. Laura Kinney, Wolverine, number 1. It's had a bunch of course, it had a bunch of variant covers written by Erica Schultz. But like, let me tell you, as stories go, as a first issue goes, it wasn't all that bad. Yeah. I'm not gonna yeah, it was fine. Batman Dark Patterns by Dan Waters. I hear a lot of good things about that. It's Batman set in an early age, like kind of like maybe year 2. Scarlet Witch number 7. I think I skipped that one. I did. I really did. Dazzler number 4 of 4 by Jason Liu and Company. It's really bad comic book. Unless they can get it like collected and sell it on Scholastic to young people. I mean, if you can sell this to girls, fine, go for it. You know what I mean? Why not? DC versus Vampires World War V number 5. I'm not even registering on that. The Superwoman special number 1, $5.99. Written by Joshua Williamson. So I picked it up because it's it's part of the Superman story of Joshua Williamson. I've got every single issue of that. I've hustled down probably about a good third of them, the earlier ones that I missed, between 1 and 9, and I bought a few off of Yule. I did. Seriously. And yeah, let's take a pen in that. Let's see, what else do we read this week? Conan the Barbarian number 17. I didn't read that. I didn't get that. I'm not into Conan, but I know that Jim Zub is signed on with Titan Books to do Conan through 2025 and 2026. So Conan fans, unite and rejoice, for you are being given the best stuff you can get. Tonal, it respects the tone of Conan. I mean, what I've read is amazing. The art, it's risque, it's violent, it's sexy. I mean, it's just like, wow, this is like, it's like an old 70s comic book. I really dig its gumption. Deadpool Team Up number 4, written and drawn by Rob Liefeld, or is it Liefeld? I really had a lot of fun with this book. It's dumb, it's stupid, it's over the top, it's frilly. It's the dialogue kind of makes no sense in a way. But the art is just so good. I mean, there are a lot of blank backgrounds too, so it's not like it's really, really good. I mean, because just it's when there are no backgrounds, you know what I mean. So that's obviously left for the fucking colorist to fill in at this point. But it's Rob Liefeld, and he's drawing and inking, but it's these classic poses, this classic kind of action. It's really fun, and it's like this just remind you of like, remember when comics looked like this, and that were just they had a sense of joy in its kinetic action. Yeah, I mean, just so if you're like a 90s fan, check out Deadpool Team Up #4. Silent Night, Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night Returns #3. Stick a pen in that. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man by Christos Gage #1. It's the official prequel to the upcoming animated show, and it's I read it, and it's one of the worst Spider-Man stories I've ever read. And this is Christos Gage too, who knows how to write Spider-Man. He's Dan Slott's ghostwriter half the time, So it's like a new spin on his origin. It's really slapdash. It's not it's not fun. It was just too much talking. Not a lot of action. It starts off in medias res in action, and one of those, oh I got here kind of things. Whoop-de-doo. But it's really piss poor. Not a good first issue. See, the Laura Kinney Wolverine #1, it is what it is, but at least it was a really decent issue #1. Because issue 1's can be boring. Issue 1's going to be just like last week's All New Venom #1 by Al Ewing. Like, oh, this is just so plainly written for its fucking trade that its opening issue is like, it's not it can't be like read on its own. It was just there's nothing in it. There's no meat in this sandwich. You know what I mean? It could be, you can make it on mayo, you can make it on Wonder Bread with mayo, but can you please put some meat on that thing? You can, please. Yeah, I'm with you there. I just can't argue with you. Cannot argue with you. But I do love pushing back on all the Paul haters and the MJ stuff. I love saying, like, MJ has moved on, and so should you. Why are you being a creep holding on to MJ like that? You feel like Peter Parker isn't a creep, or is he? Or is that what they're trying to do? They're trying to make Peter into a creep, someone that can't let go of, like, the woman that left him for somebody else. Well, there's excuses. Well, time was differently, and then we thought you gave up on us, Peter, and and I ended up Paul. She's she left you for someone else, and she left Paul for Peter. Robin would turn into this big bad like his daddy would. I think that's what I think. Space Ghost #8. I won't read it because of David Pepos, who blocked me on Twitter with no interaction. You've earned my hatred. Maybe my apathy, but more of my hatred. Black Lightning #2. Spirits of Vengeance #4. I avoided that one because I read like 1, 2, and 3, and it's just really bad. I just didn't like it. Terminator #3, Witchblade, Star Wars, Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege #4 of 4 out of this is like #8 of 12 in this the Jakku Rising kind of thing. It's like everything's leading up to this thing called the Battle of Jakku. So if you know your sequel trilogy lore, Jakku is where Rey Skywalker was found. I called Rey Skywalker. I did. Why not? It's just Disney canon. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt Lucas canon either. It really doesn't. So that's where Rey was. But the wreckage of that Star Destroyer that she was pilfering, that didn't get like swept clean already, in the past, 18, 20 years. What, just saying, she's still able to, salvage, parts out from that thing, it's leading up to the Battle of Jakku. What left that there? Yeah. They keep writing Peter as a loser. I know. There's a difference between Peter being a loser and Peter suffering from Parker luck. I mean, seriously, Peter's not a loser. Peter's a good guy. Peter's like someone you want to root for and see win, Alien Paradiso #1 on the 20th Century Fox logo. It's Paradiso is a colony where there's a paradise island where people go for holiday, for vacation. And of course, hilarity ensues when the Weyland-Yutani Corporation wish to infest and infiltrate the place with the xenomorph. One thing about it that was interesting was that we get to see from the xenomorph's point of view, but through its eyes, through its senses. So it appears that it clearly rips off of Predator, which is an associated property now, because Fox owned both, and the Alien versus Predator thing. So those two things got intertwined because of Dark Horse Comics. In the late 80s and early 90s, there was the Alien versus Predator comic book, which was amazing. All right. I skipped Scarlet Witch 7. I skipped Spirits of Vengeance #4. But I read I will say this, Star Wars Republic Under Siege #404, great art by Stefano Raffali. I'm rooting for Star Wars, so this wasn't an entirely terrible Star Wars book. AL, have a great weekend. See you later, alligator. Thank you so very much. From Pikachu to you. Pika. That's what he said. But yeah, Alien Paradiso. Oh yeah, so it's showing us a panel or two from the aliens' point of view. And so it's, instead of having that infrared vision that the Predators have, I know the Predators have some kind of alien name that I can't seem to care enough to remember, because I'm from like Predator 1 and 2 where it didn't have a name yet, and it came so much later that it's just like, sure, that's its name, right? And anyone know what the Predators species is called out there in the chat? Anyone? Bueller. So they see naturally through like the infrared spectrum and heat stuffs. That's so. And a xenomorph sees things in like cooler tones, maybe even in the ultraviolet spectrum. But it's like they can see. It's like they can see a smell. It's like, so sight and scent are united. Maybe such as like our sense of smell and our sense of taste is united for a human. Who knows? Anything else that I didn't? Oh, wow. FML #2 came out this week. Who cares? Did anyone read that? Fucking Kelly Sue DeConnick? Wow. That was so bad. Gotham City Sirens Uncovered #1. No, thank you. Yeah, I think that was it for. No, there was a Green Lantern 59 Facsimile edition out there that I almost bought. It's the first issue featuring Guy Gardner. But no, I didn't. I blinked. I didn't do it. What's in the bag? What did we buy this week at the local comic book shop where I spent $28.94 over 6 funny books? So that's about basically, that's almost $30. 30 times divided by 6. So I almost spent $5 per book. Let's see. What do we got here? I've got books. Book. Oh, by the way, speaking of giving a cluck, you've seen Pikachu for years. He's been my executive producer and, one of my closest allies and friends over for half my life now, for about 25 years or so. Pikachu, it's been me and you. But before Pikachu, it was a very special yellow, fuzzy, kind of stuffed thing in my life. My first I inherited my mom's condo when she passed, and so I'm gonna have to go through all of this stuff. And I opened up one of the chest of drawers, and of course, I recognized it a mile away. It's Ducky. It's just, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to one of my first imaginary friends. It's Ducky. Yep. Hi, Ducky. Ducky and I go way back. This little hand puppet is 51 years old. It's got a little bit wear and tear. So I was thinking about throwing him in the wash, but I don't want to ruin him either. So maybe I just might do some kind of like toothbrush, try to brighten him up somehow. But Ducky was my original first best friend. And I mean, look, like, yes, I dumped you for someone that looks just like you. Right. No, Ducky, don't say that. No, my mom left it in there, like, just on purpose. Like, she knew I would see it. But what did we buy? I bought 6 funny books this week. Floppies for my local comic book shop, my LCS. I also get my supplies there, my long boxes, my bags, and my boards. And let's start off with this one. It's She, Return of the Warrior, 2 of 2. Written and drawn by Billy Tucci on Crusade Comics, one of the comic skate kings I was telling you about. I got to meet him 2 years ago at Wicked Boston Comic Con, and him and his wife Debbie Tucci. Billy Tucci went to school, learned his trade at the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan in the mid to late 80s. And then after that, he became a paratrooper in the U.S. Army. And what a wonderful story this guy got. But he's a great artist. He draws beautiful women. He was trained in making commercial art for modeling studios and like Don Draper kind of stuff, But he went and drew comics instead. She has been around for over 30 years. So, and it's been something that Billy's constantly done, predating this era of the crowdfunder. He was happy to bring the crowdfunding, She into crowdfunding, but he's been doing this for like 30 years. And I'm so happy I was able to get issue 1 and issue 2. I got issue 1 and it came out a month or more ago, but this was a $5.99 comic, and this is cover B. This is an Amanda Connor cover. Yeah, who also draws really pretty women. It's a fun book. It's full of action, full of good-looking women, and I love supporting Billy and Debbie Tucci. And I tell them, hey, look what I found out here in the wild on the shelf. I found your book, bub. He loved hearing that. Let's see. I got Batman Santa Claus Silent Night returns, 3 of 4. This is a weekly, and it's the return of Santa Claus. I got that last year. Batman Santa Claus Silent Night was real fun. And So is this one. It's all right, you know. And let's see, what else did I get? I got the Superwoman special, and I got the B cover. No, I got the C cover. So this is a variant cover. Let's see who. There's a lot of talking in it. Oh gee, it's like the font versus my eyes. Oh gosh, because the more you use these glasses, the more reliant you become on them. This is Elizabeth Torque. So this is the C cover. It was the same price. Usually the variant cover is $1 more. And look, McFarlane Toys. Batman this is a mock-up of the movie poster done in action figures. And look, yeah, I mean, I loved this movie. Val Kilmer is Bruce Wayne. One of the only Jim Carrey movies I like. Usually he annoys me. I usually don't like Jim Carrey at all. But it's okay. I mean, it's, you know, here is the big look at it. This is the all-in splash page. Like, you know, hey, we're proud of all these characters we got. All right. I'm Jessica Cruz. Is she in here? Because I was going to say, like, is Kyle Rayner in here? No, we got Hal Jordan. You got Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. You got Flash. That's got to be Barry. Or is that Wally? I think it's Wally. But Wally's wearing a different outfit. I think that there's Oracle, Batman, Nightwing, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Hal. Okay, I'm getting to a point here. Power Girl, Superwoman, Superman, Star Sapphire. Okay, there are no Asian people, no Asian heroes here. There appears to be no Latinas or Latinos here. No Asian people, no Latinos, and no Middle Eastern people, no Arabic people, no subcontinental Hindu people. You could have put Swamp Thing in there because Ram V gave Swamp Thing a new host who was from India. You know, so you can leave you guessing. Is that the Alec Holland Swamp Thing, or is that the newer version who was a part of the the Titans? Does it matter? You know, I mean, seriously. But you can tell who Simon Baz is or Jessica Cruz is as Green Lanterns, or even Joe Mullen. I'm like, where are the women of color? Seriously, the only person of color here is Victor Stone, Cyborg. Seriously, look at it. I mean, is woke dead? That's what we started off with. What is woke? Well, this ain't very woke. I can tell you that right now. Because if it was, it would be about 4 years ago. You had all like the pride that was just like really a bit too much. Is this a natural reaction to the overdoing? You overdid pride. You really DC Marvel. You overdid pride. You kind of overdid woke. So is this like your way of scaling back on that? It's just like and yeah, it was okay. I mean, and it just leads me to something too. It's just like all these just okay books. I mean, this really helps with my collector's node. Like I've gotten every issue of Superman by Joshua Williamson, so I wanted that, but I don't need it. I really don't need any of these things, and they just keep accumulating. And like, I'm not stressing out or where to put them or anything. It's more of like, what's the point? Especially if they're going to be bad. I don't really buy that many bad comic books. I got so picky. I'm so picky when it comes to actually spending my money and my physical space on these things. Because when am I going to read them again? Seriously, I've been meaning to reread Sacrificers because that's really good. I've been meaning to reread Rare Flavors by Ram V, and but I haven't had the time to. Maybe after I move and get all settled in, but because I'll be going through my comics again. Like 15 short boxes, maybe 16 short boxes. They're all like, there's like 20, 30 pounds each. Jeez. I need to get a mover. I need to get a move on. I need to get my desktop back. My boom mic. I miss my kit, my YouTube studio. But I am grateful and blessed that I got this ring light with the tripod and the phone clip. It's how we all start. Thank you, Jenny Nicholson. I mean, you're one of my heroes, Jenny. If you're out there, if someone can clip this and send it to Jenny Nicholson, I adore your program. I love your delivery. I love the timbre and cadence of your voice. I think you're a beautiful young woman. I'm too old for you, so don't worry. I'm not being a creep. You kept me company during lockdown and furlough. I watched a lot of your stuff, even going back to Millennial Falcon, which was really interesting. And it's like, but I mean, Jenny Nicholson is she's on my Mount Rushmore. I want to let's forget about. I'll still watch her stuff. I wish she made more content. She did that expose, 4-hour long expose on the Star Wars hotel experience, the Galactic Star Cruiser, and it's gotten about 15 million views. Like, she deserves every accolade she gets. She's awesome. I love Jenny Nicholson, and that's it. I mean, sorry, I'm 52 years old. She's too young for me. I'm sorry. She's got to be in her late 20s, early 30s, but she's just like wholesome, and she's cute, and she what do you think I got like the YouTuber's idea of just doing this? It was her, Robert Meyer Burnett, Gary Beekler, Doomcock, of who you can't see, but everyone else, has the shelf porn and just the thing going on. It's something to say, and what I got to say is Incredible Hulk #20 by Phil Kennedy Johnson and Danny Earls. Pretty good stuff. Once I get beyond my own prejudices and biases about digitally dragged and dropped onomatopoeia. And, but yeah, I've never been a Hulk reader, and this is pretty fun. It's pretty good. It keeps me, coming back every month. Now I have a collection, of these Hulk floppies. I never had this before. I was never a Hulk reader. Transformers 15. Awesome stuff. Great artwork. Great stories. I like where this is going. And I hope that maybe, hopefully I'll stay on after Daniel Warren Johnson leaves after issue 24. Pick of the week. Green Lantern 18 by Jeremy Adams and Harmonico. The art in this is pretty killer. The coloring in this is pretty killer. It's Romulo Fajardo Jr. does the coloring of this book, and it's out of this world. This is a fun magazine. And now it kind of ends suddenly. It just wraps everything up. This is part 3 of Valley of the Dying Stars. Part 3 of Civil Core. And it's where Jeremy Adams is one-upping Jeff Johns right now. Jeff Johns laid down his plan for the emotional spectrum 20 years ago. And Jeremy Adams is one of the few comic book writers that knows what he's doing with the characters' voices, their motivations, their history. Jeremy Adams will also be doing Aquaman soon. I'm in. He's also going to be doing Green Lantern Corps, at least to start it. I'm in. As long as he's in, I get anything that Jeremy Adams is writing. He's also doing Flash Gordon on I think it's on Boom Studios, I think, or is that Titan? I forget. But everything he writes is really fun and good, and it's worth your time and money too. So support Jeremy Adams. And Green Lantern 18, I've been a Green Lantern fan all my life. I'm a happy Green Lantern reader. And keep them coming. Thank you, Jeremy Adams. And that's all we got for today. Thank you so much. It's time for me I'm going to cook a steak. I'm going to have some Sunday supper. I'm starving. And oh, hey there. Awesome. Good to see you, Bandito Bane. Hey, Sully, how was the date? She ran over a nail. She had a flat tire. That was the excuse. Maybe next week. We'll see. I read ASM 63 and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Good stuff. Hope Justine Island keeps it up the next issue, though. Yeah, I agree. I thought that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #1 by Christos Gage was one of the worst Spider-Man books I've ever read in my life. It was vapid. It was poorly done, and it was an origin story, a Neo origin story too. And he flubbed it. I didn't like it one bit. And also visually, I like alternate Spidey costumes, and especially a Proto Zero costume like such as this. Yeah, and we'll see if I might have a date, another chance at a first date. I'm trying to get this date in before the year ends, man. It'll be 5 first dates in 2024, which is better than last year, which I had 0 first dates in 2023. So, onward and upward. Wow, the memes of destruction is here. It's time to break out the Velveeta. Indeed. Only memes is smart enough to understand that Velveeta is, a solid liquid and a plasma all at once. It's like every state known to experience and just in one thing. Wow, Lord Toth, good to see you. Awesome. Everyone too is showing up right at the end too. We're wrapping things up. It's supper time for me, but I hope you had a great week, and hope you enjoyed the show. And it's good to see all of you out there. So have a great Sunday. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.